Hello, hello, and welcome back to Two Nerds in a Lab. My name is Hani El Gali.
And I am Mehdi Jafari, and we will be your nerd hosts again tonight.
All right, so from the last time we talked about Meraki segmentation, and today episode we're gonna show you a different way of doing segmentations. Last time, let me click here. Last time we did the Meraki options of segmentation. So we have the two options here, as we can just think about it at a high level, is Meraki Group Policies, where that lives on all the Meraki products. And again, you have the adaptive policy with the SGT, the Cisco SGTs. So, what are we going to talk today, Mehdi?
So the last time we showed you how to leverage group policies for segmentation and defining intent, but we showed how you can do it with iPSK and do it the slightly more manual way. Today, Hani's going to show us how to automate the way we can detect what the device is and who the user is and assign the group policies. And in
Awesome.
part three, we will show you the SGT version.
Awesome. So we want to break it small pieces so it's easy to digest as a viewer. We don't want to keep it like a long video. So hopefully this will be concise and to the point. So we talked about last time is the group policy lives in the Meraki cloud, in the Meraki dashboard. So it's the easiest way to actually have a consistent and simple policies across all of your networks. So last time we did, as Mehdi talked now, is we did it over iPSK, which is basically simplifying your wireless deployment by using a different pre-share key for devices that is critical. Like now, we can see a lot of IT devices. But today we're going to talk about using it with Radius. In my example, we are using Cisco Identity Service Engine or Cisco ISE. And that identity engine is we're using 802.1x to eventually give us the authorization or what is this device needs to be part of what group policy within the Meraki cloud. So it's super easy. You configure your group policy once in the dashboard, and now ICE is make the decision of what those users needs to go. This is definitely could be used with any Radius server that actually it could use just specific Radius attribute, and that will accomplish the goal. So let's walk into that video. Here you can see that we have the MS applying access list. This is similar to what dynamic ACL or DACLs on the Catalyst here. As we can see, you push the config, you create a group policy on the Meraki cloud, and that group policy will be pushed down to the switches. And from there, you are going to have the group policy already placed here on the switch. A client coming and connected eventually will get authenticated using 802.1x. The Radius server will have a filter ID that will be pushed out to the switch, and now the switch will be assigning that filter ID or that group policy to the user or the switch port, which is really cool. So something that a lot of users looking for, admin looking for segmentations. And actually today I'm going to walk you through that. I do have here my Meraki Cloud, and also I have my Cisco ISE. So I'll walk you through the configuration real quick, and we'll look at a quick test. So here we can see that I went to group policy, and I'm testing it here in my test network. And we can see I created GPACL. This is the group policy. Make sure that this name is matching the filter ID that is coming from ICE, and we'll make sure that it's configured there as well. So group policy, as of now, I don't have any ACL, but let's create a quick ACL here. So I'm going to deny any two words. I have a server dot 44 or 43, and I'm going to just call it, you have to give it a name. So block server, and I'm just going to hit save. Very simple. And let's go and create our access policy. So we'll go and create the group or what is configured here. So I have already one configured, which I call it ISE here. I give it the IP address, and make sure here the filter ID is selected. This is what the attribute is going to be coming from ICE. And now I just make it a single host connected here. Actually, a really cool feature here in the Meraki dashboard, that you'll be able to test all of your switches, if they be able to talk to the cloud, to ICE or not, or to your radio server. So let's test it here, and we can see we have only one switch, and it seems to me it's working. So one switch is passed and successful here, and we can see actually what is the attribute is I'm getting back. And oh yeah, look here, we can see that filter ID is actually configured in ICE, and I'm gonna walk you real quick on that. So from a switch perspective, we're almost ready. Let's go and configure one of the switch ports that what we're gonna connect our client to. And here I'm connecting it to switch port 23. So we can see 23 by default is going to be open when we select access, but since we have that group policy or access policy we configured, we're just going to click that access policy, assigning it a VLAN. Another cool thing, you can actually make this dynamic, and you can assign dynamic VLAN from ICE, but in this example we're just going to put statically here header update. So at this point our device is actually ready. Let's go and just look real quick at what ICE looks like. So we're gonna go to our server here. So I use ICE 2.6. Let's log in real quick, and let's look at our policy. Fairly simple. I didn't create anything. This is just the default. Nothing fancy here, but I just made a quick change at the last one here. So by default you get this one here in ICE, but I just made a little bit change where if you pass and you're coming from a device type MS. So walk you real quick here. So I added my devices here. So MS, this is my my Meraki switch, and that's the IP address where they're coming from. But here I just put a device type and created this manually, and I put MS to make it simple that I could differentiate on my policies here. So let's go back, and I'm sure now at this point it's clear for you guys. So let's look at policy, and now if you match those here, if you match those conditions, I'm going to assign you the group policy permit. This is my result. So let's look at the result real quick, and we're going to look at that specific result. Alright, so the result is group policy ACL-permit, and of course is type accept. And now here I type radius filter ID, and I give this the name. So make sure this name is matching the group policy on the Meraki cloud. And you can see here is matching, of course, and we're just gonna hit save, and that's all. So let's now bring up, so I'm gonna actually just connect here. So the switch is connected, and now we can go to ICE and let's see the logs. See, let's get an IP address real quick. All right, just connected my access the client, the test client. All right, we can see here. Actually authenticated before, so basically just gonna prompt you with username and password. You're gonna assign that and give that from your maybe the Active Directory name or is local to ICE. And now let's just so we got an IP address from that VLAN 50. So let's go back here and let's look at our radius call. This is fairly simple. It's very simple that we could give permission sorry, just do segmentation in this very simple fashion. And we can see here, this is our call. We can see it match the authorization policy, and yep, we got that authorization result, and that's the IP address we assigned to that to the client. If we look here real quick, now we can see I authenticated using user 1. This is just local to ISE, and we can see the result profile. If we scroll all the way down, we can see the filter ID that we were looking for as a result is the group poly ACL. So now if we go to our Meraki and look here at group policies, so multiple ways we can see it. Let's go to client. So you want to make sure what client's assigned to this. So if I go here and I can see, that's very correct, that we have Hani Al Ghali here, that's my client, and we can see there is a different group policy assignment now, dynamically came to us from ISE, which is GPACL. And actually it does have one rule that I cannot talk to the server. So if we try now to ping that server, just so we can confirm this is working. All right, moment of truth. All right, you can see here I cannot ping that that specific device. But what is really cool about this, you could actually make the changes live, and like let's say I'm trying to ping the 44, which is pingable, right? So let's just keep this one running here. So I'm going to keep this running on the background, and I'm going to go back to my group policy. So this is similar to, this could be dynamically assigned, or you could use the API to do this. But let's say that I am going to deny another user here, and I'm just going to deny that specific one that we actually connected to, 44/32, and I'm just going to go block again. And this is what is cool about it too, because now you don't have to re-authenticate again for this to work. This ACL, it will be applied to the user right away without the user have to authenticate back and forth. So you're going to give it a second. This will be pushed down to the device, to the MS, to the switch, and fairly soon here we're going to see, actually I'm just trying to ping my phone here, that's why it takes a lot of time, as you can see from the ping there. But this should block that user right away, and we should see that going up here. All right, as we can see here, it took maybe about less than a minute or a minute. So we can see that it was successful. The device is blocked even after authentication, and I did not re-authenticate this device, so we can see this is dynamically. So it depends on the admin. If there is anything that they need to block right away on the actual user session, they can go and do that as well. So well, I hope this has been easy and informative. Let me know if you have any question. All right, take it easy. Bye bye.